This is a Friday Shoes production. Our target today is how you can compare integers and evaluate expressions with absolute value. It can be found in lesson 1-3 in our book on page 35. First, we need to discuss what integers are. Integers are the whole numbers and their opposites. What does that mean? Well, if you take a look at the number line here, every one of these numbers right here are integers. Again, integers don't have any parts to them. There's no decimal parts to them. There's no fractions. So it's the, if you look, there's one. One is a integer, just like -1's an integer, just like -4 is an integer, just like 4 is an integer. Again, it's the whole numbers and their opposites. Any number to the left of another number on the right is less. For instance, you can see here it says numbers to the left of 0 are less than 0, and numbers to the right of 0 are greater than 0. At the bottom here, they start to use our is less than sign and is greater than sign. So they're looking at these two locations on the number line, and they're saying, hey, look, -5 is to the left of 4, so therefore -5 is less than 4. But you can reverse that and say 4, this location right here, is greater than -5. Just by simply flipping to inequality. That's an inequality sign. It's saying 4 is greater than -5. To look more at that and compare, let's take a look at this page. This symbol right here is called the is greater than sign, and this symbol is the is less than sign. It literally means, that's what you say when you see it. These are the words you say when you see that. And you may remember, many people have told me they've seen this in 5th grade, I believe. They started using these symbols. So for instance, 2 is less than 3, and the open mouth eats the larger number, and the point always points at the smaller number. Notice if I switch that, then you would have 3 being eaten, but it's pointing to the 2. This one's read 3 is greater than 2. This one's read 2 is less than 3. Let's look at example 1. It says replace the circle with is less than or is greater than to make this particular statement right here a true sentence. So what would we put right here? Well, is -2 greater than -4, or is -2 less than -4? Let's take a look. Again, here are the two locations. We have -4 right here, and we've got -2 here. Any number to the left of another number is less than that number. So therefore, -4 is less than -2. But they have it backwards up here. So they say -2 would be greater than -4. And there's our answer. -2 is greater than -4 because it's to the right. So we'd use the is greater than. Take a look at the examples down here. Try them on your own, A, B, and C. See if you come up with the correct inequality to put in for the circle. Here's what I would do. I know that -3, any negative number is going to be less than any positive number. Therefore, I would write in -3 is less than 2, simply because all negative numbers are less than any positive numbers. B is a little bit tougher. You got to put the numbers on, put your little dots there, and notice we're talking about -5. Is that going to be greater or less than -6? Well, it's to the right of the -6. -5 is to the right of -6. Therefore, it's larger, or it's greater. So we're going to say that -5 is greater than -6. And C, -1 is definitely less than 1. Again, same argument as the first problem. A, -3 is less than -2 because all negative numbers are less than any positive numbers. Let's talk about absolute value. Sounds like it's a really hard concept to understand. Absolute value. Ooh, scary. Not really. All it really means is the distance between a number and zero on a number line. How far away is it from zero? That's all you're asking. How far away is it from zero? The distance. And distance is always positive. You're either at some location or you're so many feet, yards, miles, units, whatever it is, away. So distance is always positive. The absolute value, the symbol for it, are two bars. And then they'll put things in the middle, inside here. And what they're asking is how far away is whatever's inside there from zero. Real simple. Take a look at their example here. They're using -4 as an example. Well, -4 is 4 units away from zero. So therefore, the answer is 4. This literally says the absolute value of -4 is 4. Likewise, notice that 4, the absolute value of 4 is equal to 4 as well, because it's 4 units away from zero. Distance, again, measured positively, and it does not matter direction. It doesn't matter if you're going left or right. It's just how far away is it? Just count the units in between. So let's try one. Let's evaluate -5. Let's evaluate the absolute value of -5. How far away is -5 from zero? Well, let's take a look. Here's where -5 is, and here's where 0 is. How far away is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the answer. How about the second one? Evaluate the absolute value of 3. How far away is 3 from 0? That's really what they're asking you. Well, here's 3. And it is how far away from 0? 1, 2, 3 units. There's the answer, 3. Now, many kids come to me and say, well, isn't it just a positive number there? Isn't it just the positive? Well, in many cases, it does work out that way. But sometimes they want to throw they'll put them all together and put it into a math problem that doesn't just have one number in there, or there's something to do with the absolute values. And take a look at these two examples here. I'll show you how to do these. This first one, we have absolute value of 5 plus the absolute value of -6. So the absolute value of 5, and we treat it just like parentheses. We do this one first, then do this one second, and then we add them together. So what's the absolute value of 5? Well, the absolute value of 5 is 5, because it's 5 away from 0. What's the absolute value of -6? That's 6. It's 6 units away from 0. Now, once we've got that answer, notice the absolute values are gone. We just add them up. It's 11. That's the answer. This one, just like we would be doing with our algebraic expressions, we take this -19, we plug it in for n. Here's the new problem we're looking at, -19, the absolute value of -19, minus 9. We would do this first. How far away is -19 from 0? Well, it's 19 away. Then we minus off 9. And the answer would be 10. How about you give it a try? These are the two you should try in your notes, and then we'd be done. Notice there's a math problem inside of these absolute values now, not a problem. We can do that. What's 5 minus 3? Oh, that's 2. We still have the absolute value symbol. We haven't done anything there. We can also do this one over here. What's 8 minus 10? There's a tricky one for you. We haven't talked about this yet, but we're going to get to it. 8 minus 10 is actually -2. Now we do the absolute values. The absolute value of 2 is 2 because it's 2 away from 0. Put our plus sign down. And what's the absolute value of -2? Well, that's 2 away from 0 as well. Now we take those two and add them together and you have 4. The answer to this original problem is actually 4. And our last one, let's plug in our -12 here. We have 8 plus the absolute value of -12. Well, let's do the absolute value first. Absolute value of -12 is 12. It's 12 away from 0. 8 plus 12 is 20. There's our final answer. Don't forget, you can always rewatch the video or you can go through the examples in the book. You can also watch personal tutor videos, which are on the online textbook. And this has been a Friday Shoes production.